All right. We are live once again. Emergency live stream came together at the last second, but I'm joined by first-time guest, long-time listener, Mr. Greg. So do you want to introduce yourself to the Dubcast Nation?
First, I want to start off. Thank you for having me on the podcast, and that was a great introduction. My name is Greg Small. I'm a longtime listener of Colin McGann, even before the Dubcast, actually. No, I'm very happy to be here, and let's get rolling.
All right, so today we're here to talk 2024 college football playoff, the first year of the expanded playoff. 12 teams. We got 4 games this weekend, and we'll preview each of those. We have spreads for all of those games, and then we'll make our predictions for the next 3 or 4 rounds. I'm not sure how many it is. I think it's 4, including the championship. Our picks for the championship predictions and who we have as our national championship for 2024. So first, before we dive into the specific games, any overall takeaways? You're a college football expert, so what has been, obviously there's a lot to talk about this college football season, but anything you wanted to quickly touch on before we get into the specific games?
Syracuse football is back. No, well, I miss the Pac-12. I miss Pac-12 at night, of course. But I think it's been, I have to say, best football season ever because of the expanded playoff. Because the games at the end just mattered so much more and made it so much more fun. Like, I'm excited to see where this goes years ahead, but it's been great. What about you? What do you think?
You think this is the best year of college football ever?
Yes, because at the end of the season, football mattered way more.
Ignore that. I think we'll have to see how these playoffs play out. Like, I think it depends on, especially in the first and second round, like there's the potential for there to be a lot of snooze fests. So I think it's going to depend on what happens in these first couple rounds. But besides that, it's been pretty fun to, I've been slowly getting more and more into the game. So I'm excited for this 12-team playoff. I'm excited to see what happens. And I don't know. I think it's kind of obvious where things are headed, but hopefully this year I feel like there is more level playing field where like there could be a team that could potentially come in and upset. So we'll see what happens. But I think it was a good overall okay season, but we'll see what the end result is. You got to have a strong finish as well. So let's dive right in. First game.
Let me just rephrase that though. Maybe not the best season.
I was gonna say that's very
most dramatic. I would say easily.
Yeah, well, there's always drama with the 4 teams. Now you have drama with the 12 teams.
Yeah, it makes it better, don't you think?
I don't know. All right, you got to turn that off. 12 teams or 4 teams, I don't know. I think it's just like there's always going to be drama with no matter how many teams there are, even if they move it to 16 or 20 or whatever. But we'll see. I think the drama between SMU and Bama is kind of like not like kind of usually what you'd expect. Like last year is the worst with FSU. I think the ACC got screwed over, but that's our combo for a different podcast. We'll see the drama. I don't know. I feel like it was pretty run of the mill team that you expect doesn't get in, whatever. But good for the College Football Commission not letting in Bama. They sucked. SMU deserves it. We'll talk about their first round matchup, but
I agree.
ACC 2 teams in. Hopefully that trend continues, and the ACC and Big 12 aren't always as bad as they were this year. Hopefully there's no Super League, but we'll see. All right, enough talk. Let's get into this playoff. First game on the board, Indiana at Notre Dame. Notre Dame -7. Obviously, you have the home field. So can you explain to me, because I'm confused about the home field. So it's not actually home field, because I've been seeing that all over Twitter. Like, what is that?
No, it's at Notre Dame.
Yeah, but then there's for example, the Ohio State game, there's apparently going to be 30% Tennessee fans. Is that just like the ticket scheming? Like it's not actually supposed to be like a neutral game?
Somehow they screwed up. I forget what it was. But like I think it was like Chancellor of Ohio State is like, please don't sell your tickets because they're 30% packed with Tennessee fans, which is so funny.
So this is going to be all Penn State fans then at this game.
Indiana?
I mean, Notre Dame fans. It's like Penn State, Notre Dame, Texas, like those will all be heavily crowd.
Yeah, no, those games are going to be packed. God, like imagine going to college at this time where your school's just playing at home a college football playoff. That's like the peak of, and specifically the first. So like that's probably the peak of college for like all these kids.
Yeah, well, it's going to be snowy in 3 of the 4 games, so not sure if that's, you know,
Oh, that's even better. Like that's gonna be sick. That's gonna
true.
be.
Get a nice alcohol blanket going.
Oh my god, you're sneaking whiskey into the game, like just to keep yourself warm. I
Who's
mean,
ever all right, I don't know if I've ever snuck whiskey in it. Actually, I did sneak vodka into a Q's basketball game, but
that's different. Like that's in a dome. Like if we were outside, like in the snow, I feel like we would have done like we would have snuck in like whiskey. We would have snuck in something.
yeah, who knows? All right,
Yeah.
Indiana Notre Dame, the focus on hand. So, what do you want me to go first? Do you want to give your analysis of this game?
I think I like Marcus Freeman a lot. And I think Kurt Cincinnati is a great coach, don't get me wrong, but I think Notre Dame, they're gonna win outright. I think you take them -6.5 here. Don't take the 7.
I like that.
You take them -6.5. I think they have one of the best defenses in the country. You take Notre Dame. Like Curtis Rourke is a great quarterback, but he's never seen a defense like this besides Ohio State. Second best defense to Notre Dame, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think Indiana, I think they're a little bit overrated just because they haven't really played anybody. Like, I think they've had a great season. I agree with you. Signetti's a really good coach. I think the quarterback's okay, but I think this has got Notre Dame written all over it. The weather gives me a little bit of pause with the spread. Like, I'm not sure if they'll be able to run away with it, but I like Notre Dame -7. I actually just placed that bet a couple minutes ago. So we'll see what happens, but Riley Leonard, I trust the process. I also think this Notre Dame team's on my short list of teams that could potentially just win it all. Like they had that one hiccup against what is it, NIU or NU, whatever. Um, NIU. And besides that, they've pretty much like controlled most of the games they played. I mean, we were there in person when they destroyed Army. I
That was
think
a great game. Well, not a great
it
game.
was
It
not
was
a
a
great
fun
game.
game
It was
for
a
us.
good game by them to
Yeah.
win, but the way they did. But I don't know. I have a lot of faith in Notre Dame moving forward. I think Indiana's kind of just here for the ride. Like we'll see if they can come back with a legit team, but that's my pick for this one. Notre Dame Friday night. So yeah, any more comments on this one? Are you ready to move on to Saturday?
I'm ready to move on.
All right. Well, our ACC action starts. We got SMU traveling to Penn State. Penn State -8.5. Against the spread, I'm not really sure because you can maybe educate me a little bit on this SMU team. Like I feel like I didn't watch any SMU games this year besides the last game against Clemson where they had that nice comeback. But it's hard to gauge like conference against conference when really we didn't see SMU play a lot of like they played BYU, I think. But they haven't had a lot of like opportunities for us to see what they're truly about. So I would lean Penn State, but Penn State's kind of a team that's not really known to blow teams out or have crazy like big victories. So for the sake of picking, I would pick Penn State, but I took Penn State in a money line or Penn State money line in a parlay. I'm not confident on the 8.5, but I do think Penn State's going to come out of here with a victory. I mean, everyone's been talking about how they have a pretty easy path. I don't think they should overlook SMU, but I don't think they are overlooking SMU listening to James Franklin this week. So what's your take on this game? And do you think SMU covers 8.5? Do you think Penn State wins? Like, what do you think is the outcome of this game?
I think this is outright. Like I think you could even take Penn State -10.5 here.
Really?
Yeah, I think. All right, I'll give you 3 good reasons. Weather. SMU plays in Texas. They're not used to the cold. Better athletes at Penn State.
True.
And third, and the biggest reason, it's at Penn State. It's going to be a whiteout game at Penn State.
Yeah.
Like this won't be a contest. They couldn't compete with Clemson that well. Like this is Penn State. Penn State's worlds better, in my opinion, than Clemson.
What about this though? Penn State can't win the big one.
I like that. But I mean, they're playing Michigan and Ohio State. This is SMU. SMU, Michigan, Ohio State, SMU.
ACC pride, bro. Come on.
New to the ACC, but
True.
I mean, it's no contest. This is like Drew Allard's gonna throw for like 300 yards. My prediction: 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Singleton is gonna go for like 80 plus yards. For those that could take player props,
Yeah,
my
I don't have
predictions.
player props. All right. Noted Ohio State fan in the chat. Allie has arrived. She says, when we getting to that one game, did you already go over it? No. So we went over Notre Dame. We're both taking Notre Dame against the spread. And then we did the Penn State game. We're both taking Penn State. I'm tentative on the spread, but we're both taking Penn State to win that game. So we will get into that. That's the last game on the slate for the week. So we'll get to that game last. But before we had to, did you have anything else on Penn State, or are you good?
I think I'm all right with
All
that.
right. So we'll go to Clemson versus Texas. I want you to take this one away. So this is the biggest spread on the board as of right now. It's minus 12 in Texas. Kind of a weird one because they're not getting like the 2-14. Like 12 is a weird number. So I think they're kind of. I mean, I'll leave my pick because I think it's a little bit different than what you're going to pick. So go ahead.
I want to make a proclamation here. So today, I got a text from my cousin. He was like, "Greg, I'm betting Texas to go all the way." I was thinking about it. I was like, I really like Oregon. I really like Oregon. But you know what? Cousins, they ride together. I put $50 on Texas to win the national championship.
No, you didn't. Stop.
Yes, horns up, baby. Horns up.
Oh
Texas
boy.
is winning this game. Take them. I mean, the odds are going to be a little. No, take them minus 9.5 here.
Okay.
9.5. That's what I like it as. I mean, Clemson won the ACC. I mean, they have Dabo as their coach, but Texas is at home. Who has better players? Texas. I think Texas will also get star on the pass rush with Cade Klubnik.
So what are the odds on a $50 Texas to win it all right now?
So the payout's like 235.
All right. I mean, that's not bad. So does this have anything to do with one of the Texas quarterbacks' last names being Manning?
I can't deny that, but maybe. All I'll say is that if Arch plays, Texas wins the national championship. That's all I'll say. It's
if he plays at all or if he starts.
If he plays, he's not going to play. I mean, Quinn Ewers will have to go down with an injury, but if he plays, Texas wins the national championship, and I proclaim that too.
Okay, so you like Texas to win this game, and you like Texas minus 10.5, but not. What would you take? Like, if you had to pick against the 12, would you take Clemson or did you take Texas?
I took Texas minus. I would take Texas minus 12. Yeah.
All right. So, I think, like March Madness, this is college sports, so we're gonna get an upset. And due to my ties within my family, I can't pick an upset for the next game. I've already gone straight across the board for the first two games. Give me Clemson to win this game. Give me Clemson plus 12. I took Clemson plus 14.5 as part of a parlay. That's kind of a safer pick. I think there's going to be an upset. Texas, this may just me being very reactionary versus 2 weeks ago, and I bet on Texas to win the SEC championship game. Nothing has screamed out to me about this Texas team that makes me confident in their playoff run, and I hate that you just told me you're taking them to win it all because, unfortunately, I'm taking them. I'm taking them to lose this game. I might sprinkle Clemson money line. I don't know if it depends how the funds are looking. I'm trying to build some funds to throw some money on that, but I don't know if I'm going to drive to Mass State Clemson money line. I forgot to bet that as part of my mass betting a couple minutes ago. Anyways, I like Clemson to win this game. Upset alert. I think, it's not just going to be straight whatever. I think Texas is a bit of a choker team. I don't know if I trust Sark. Texas's wins this year, their best wins are like Vanderbilt and who else? Who's the other one that people try and Oklahoma? Like, they don't really have wins this year. They've folded both times against Georgia. I'm taking Texas to lose this game. I know they're one of the bigger favorites to win the whole thing. I just really don't see it. I'm taking Clemson as a upset pick first round. Give me them plus 12, plus 14.5. ACC pride. We're not going 0-2, baby. We're winning one of these games. Trust the process. I don't believe in SMU, but I believe in Dabo. They have playoff experience. Dabo's been to the playoff a million times. I like Clemson to win this game outright. I'm taking them for my bracket.
You just want my downfall.
I don't want your. I had no idea. This is my pick. I can show you the bet slip. I just placed them plus 14.5. I don't know. Maybe that's a bold take, but we're here to make some bold takes. This is a bracket. You can't have a bracket without some boldness. So I like Clemson
Horns
to win
up.
outright.
Horns up, man.
All right. So we have more comments to get to. Allie says, I'm taking Indiana money line, not going to lie. Your analysis on this. Notre Dame, I think they're going to smoke them, but I'm not fully confident, so I don't know if this is the worst bet in the world.
I just think, they did choke against NIU, but I just think that defense is so good.
Yeah, and their run game, Riley Leonard's been really good running.
Yeah.
I can't be confident in Indiana when the one good team they've played, they got destroyed. I think it's going to be a similar recipe as the Ohio State game.
I mean, obviously Ohio State's great, but Notre Dame is almost the same level.
Notre Dame offensive line, you'd know better than me on this. They're garbage.
Notre Dame?
Yeah.
I can't imagine Notre Dame offensive line being bad. I mean, maybe it's not that worse than their normal
expected.
What they're normally are, but I mean, they're fine.
Greg, that's a bad bet.
Which one?
Texas. To win it all. He's very emotional with his bets, I have to say.
I ride with my cousin. What can I say? I'm a good cousin.
I wish your cousin picked a different team because I
want to take Oregon, but
Oregon's we'll get to it when we get to our other predictions. But so this is an interesting question. We had a text chain about this actually. What Big Ten school do you guys think Quinn is transferring to? So when you hear about this, you think Michigan right away, but then Michigan has Underwood. Like they're not paying him $10 million to go to Michigan.
I don't know about that. I mean, they have the money. Why wouldn't you redshirt Underwood for a year, get his body right, so he can go out there and get those big hits, and he learns under an NFL quarterback? Why not? They have the money.
I'm thinking Wisconsin are like a level 2 team. You don't think so? Oh, didn't Wisconsin?
Yeah, they got Billy Edwards Jr. already.
So who's left then? Who's could pay? Illinois is not paying big money for Quinn Ewers, right? I'm trying to brainstorm. Purdue's not getting him. Northwestern, Rutgers.
Maybe?
Ohio State has Julian Sayin. I don't think so.
Well, I mean, would you rather have an official NFL quarterback for a year? That'll probably help bolster the team, or would you just go with a freshman, a redshirt freshman? I mean, obviously he was a 5-star, but
I don't know how it works.
NFL quarterback, who's definitely going to be a first rounder.
Ali thinks Oregon can't promise Underwood strippers, alcohol, all this money, and not the starting job.
Okay, well.
I feel like we're missing somebody in the Big Ten. Indiana? Indiana might have a lot of NIL money.
Well, they're a state school, so yeah. And did you say Rutgers before?
I was saying those are the teams I was ruling out. Rutgers, Northwestern, the bottom of the barrel Big Ten teams.
Well, Northwestern, low-key. I mean, they're building a huge stadium. Maybe they have some money.
Yeah, USC, Ali just said as well. I think UCLA might be in the picture. These days, those are legacy programs that have a lot of money,
USA, I could see. I don't see UCLA. As I'm wearing UCLA jersey.
Yeah.
He could be wearing number 3 like this.
Josh Rosen. All right, more comments. You're not picking Tennessee anyways, even if I wasn't in the picture here. I don't know. Good Texas take. She's backing me on Clemson. We'll see tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Saturday. So we have one last game to get to. Tennessee, Ohio State. Ohio State minus 7.5. So I've been back and forth in this one because I'm hearing conflicting things. I think it's what you think this Ohio State team is going to be after the loss to Michigan, obviously. Do you think they're going to rally back and become a championship team? They have that talent level, or do you think they're going to be the team they were against Michigan? They're quit. They're done for the year. What is your take? You go first because I have a stake in this game. So what do you have?
I have so I know we have an Ohio State fan in the chat. So
Correct.
I'm a little scared if I don't take Ohio State, but I think I would take Tennessee plus 7.5 here. I would take them plus seven and
You
a
would
half.
take the 7.5.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is going to be a lot closer than people are saying. Like Ohio State, like at, after the Michigan game, like I feel like Ohio State's like I don't know. Maybe they're pissed, but I feel like they're gonna just go out there like just mopey. Like that's the best way I could describe it. Mopey. I think they still could very much win this game, but Tennessee, like they're a good football team in the SEC. I know weather's going to play a factor in where they're playing, but um, I really think Tennessee could come out and win this game. What are your takes?
I think it's Ohio State. I don't know the 7.5. I don't know. I'm taking Ohio State to win though. I didn't bet anything to do with this game, but I was listening to Kirk Herbstreit on Pardon My Take. I don't know if you listened to that, but he was making a good point about when they lost to Michigan, either the last time they were in the playoff when they lost to Georgia. They came out firing in that game. I think they could pull something similar here. I don't know. Day just seems to have a Michigan problem. Like against all their teams, he probably has like a handful of losses. That's it. I think they win this game. I'm not sure how comfortably they do it. It could look ugly, but in Ohio State, they're not going to lose 2 games in a row in the shoe. The fan thing might be a problem, but it's still going to be mostly Ohio State fans.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have a crazy offense, like the most offensive talent and at your skill positions in the whole thing. I think it's going to come down to Will Howard. I think whether you think he can play. I don't know if I trust Nico freshman year in the bright lights. This Tennessee team, I mean, they've been a good team. Like they deserve to make the playoffs, but I'm not sure if they're someone I'm picking to go into Ohio State and win that game. So I'm taking Ohio State, and I lean towards Ohio State on the spread to be expected, though I am biased. But what's your pick overall for your bracket? You're taking Ohio State to win the game, but Tennessee to cover?
Also, I was listening to Burger McFarland today. He was saying that like Tennessee's defensive line could go like 9 to 10 deep, and will that mean like will Howard be able to throw the ball 25 times a game with getting pressured? Right, probably more like 25, 35 times a game getting pressured, 9, 10 deep.
Oh yeah, tennis. Speaking of O lines, Ohio State does not have the best offensive line right now. Tennessee does have that good.
Yeah, their center's out for the year.
Yeah, that's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Ohio State though. I think they're just more experienced, better team, home field. I'm picking them to advance.
I respect it.
All right, so that's it for round one. Any comments on round one?
I'm scared. Allie's gonna like torch me in the comments.
She had to go for a second, now she's listening, so you have a little bit of breathing room.
Oh,
all right, let's head to round two. So we'll just have to go off our takes, but where do you want to start? Do you want to start with where do we like the same order we did last time, or do you want to switch it up and go reverse?
Same order.
All right, so we both picked Notre Dame. That draws them into Georgia, round two. So this would be on a neutral. I'm not sure if you know the locations of where these games would be played, but I'm assuming most of the games would be like a 50-50 split of fans. Is that wrong? Or
yeah, they're playing at like a venue.
Okay. Yeah. So we can come up with, I don't know if there's hypothetical spreads out there that we can, I mean, that's probably just too much time and consuming. Yeah. So we can just go winners and what we think is going to happen in the game. So Notre Dame versus Georgia. Georgia seemingly will be without Carson Beck in round two. I think this is a really interesting matchup. I struggle with this game a lot because Georgia's just seems to be inevitable. Like when they need to win, they'll win. But Notre Dame as a team, I'm very high on as well. I think Notre Dame, looking at this, got screwed over with their thing, but maybe you should play a conference and you can get one of the top 4 seeds. But so I don't feel that empathetic towards them. But this is a tough draw round two. Obviously, I mean, it's really 2 good teams and 2 kind of lower tier teams that won their conferences. But what are you thinking when you think of this Georgia Notre Dame potential matchup?
So Beck is out, right? He's not gonna play.
Backs out for sure.
Yeah, I think Stockton. He has the potential of being better, but like, are you gonna? He's a freshman, right? If I
I have
think
no
he's a
idea. You know better
freshman.
than me.
Um, I I'm a little scared about that. I'm skeptical against a Notre Dame defense and a very good coach in Marcus Freeman, who's a defensive guy. Um, but I think it's Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart will find his way to win this game. He will pull some teeth out to win this game. I'm going Georgia.
Gunnar Stockton is a sophomore or redshirt sophomore.
All right, so he's been in the wings for like, what, 3 years.
Yeah.
So I think he's right. He looked good. Like he started the offense, like driving them downfield. I think he can win this game for them. I really do. And all they have to do is just run the ball with ETN. We'll be fine.
Yeah. I think this is a harder pick than I'm making out to be because now I'm thinking of it every time Notre Dame plays a like actually important opponent in an important game they lose.
Mm,
So I'm going with Georgia. I just trust them more. So give me Georgia to advance the semifinals as well. I think this could be a very close game. Like depending on the spread, I may bet Notre Dame spread. But I'd like to have more faith in Notre Dame. Like if they were playing Boise State or Arizona State, I'd say let's go right ahead and Boise or Notre Dame's going to win this game, but
mm.
it's Georgia. It's arguably the best team in the college football for the last 5 to 10 years. I mean, mostly the last 5, but I think Georgia's too good. Their defense is insane. I mean, we saw them shut down Texas, so I'm taking Georgia as well. We both have Georgia moving to the semifinals. Next up, we'll have we both picked Penn State, so we'll have Penn State versus Boise State. First, we have some commenters in the chat. Allie's an agreement that Tennessee will cover, but the spread, but doesn't win the game. I think we both kind of alluded to that. I lean more towards Ohio State covering, but I'm just not touching that game betting wise. I just think Ohio State's going to win, but I'm not sure about the spread. Our friend Connor J has joined us in the chat. He says, "Wow, wow," and then well. Look what we have here. Penn State has a clear path for the chippy. We'll get into that now as we head to this round 2 game. Allie, in response to your Ohio State take, says Greg like K.
I'm sorry. It's just my opinion.
Things happen. All right, so Boise State versus Penn State. This will be interesting. Ashton Genty versus the Penn State team here.
I like
I'll
how
take
you said Ashton Genty, not Boise State.
that's what that team is to me at this point. I'm gonna go with Boise State. I mean, not Boise, Penn State.
I was gonna say.
I don't think this is an upset. Yeah, Penn State does have an easy path. I think this game could be pretty close. It'll probably be like a 10-point spread for Penn State. Not sure if they cover that. I'm just, it's one of those situations where people are going to hype up the group of 5 and they're going to win this game. And I don't think so. I mean, Penn State's going to be in the semifinal. And I don't even think Penn State's that good, but they've just got a really good draw. Like, I don't think Boise State's that good either. Them being a 3 seed is just crazy to me. I know they have the Heisman runner up, but put him in a single game spot like this. He hasn't really played like a true, I mean, they played Oregon, but they haven't played like a Big Ten defense. I think Penn State can win this one in a low scoring battle. I just trust Penn State. They have way better athletes at every position besides running back. So I'm taking Penn State to advance to the semifinal. What about you?
I think this game is going to be a complete running game. Singleton versus Genty.
Yeah.
They're both just going to run the ball 100 times. It's going to be a little snooze fest. I mean, it's still going to be a great game. It's going to be low scoring as hell. But I think Penn State wins this game outright. Like, I think they win. Actually, you know what? I'll say by a touchdown because I think that Boise State's gonna hold the ball for a long time. I think that Penn State's gonna hold the ball a long time because they have these great running backs. But it'll be fun to watch. It'll definitely be fun to watch.
All right. Connor J could see that being a 3.5 spread. That would be a great game if it was 3.5. Unfortunately, I would just hammer Penn State. Like I think a lot of people like to get hype behind these teams that can make runs like Boise State and have like nice one-off seasons like Indiana as well. But the writing's on the wall. Like Penn State's gonna get what they want at the end of the day. Which game is the Rose Bowl? Do we know that?
No, I wish. I need to see the bracket.
I
I mean,
have
I
the
did
bra-
look
I
it
have the
up.
bra- I have the bracket up right now, but it doesn't say which game's which. Maybe
I
we
think
can
it says on the ESPN app.
get back to that. But yeah, maybe they will have the hypothetical round two matchup, so I'll take a look into that. So next on the other side of the bracket, we have Clemson, or I have Clemson versus Arizona State. You have Texas versus Arizona State. So, we have our answer here. Rose Bowl is Oregon. So last
Yeah, I
game we'll
was
talk
about to
about is the
say.
Rose Bowl. Connor J, upset that you don't know the answer to this. So here's where
I
we splinter off a little
apologize.
bit. We had different results. I have Clemson winning. You have Texas winning. So go ahead, give your pick for Texas versus Arizona State.
That's not even. That's not even a contest. That's Texas outright. Like Arizona State's great. Bo Scabu's a great running back, but like top to bottom, who has a better roster? Like it's Texas, like by a mile. Oh, we have a guest too here. We
Who?
just want to
Lola?
say hello.
Lola. Celebrity.
She also likes the Texas pick. But
So
yeah, back
you
to what
don't
I was
think it's
saying.
close? All
No,
right.
not even. It's not even close at all. I think
So
Texas,
what do you think's closer, Texas, Arizona State, or Texas, Clemson?
Texas, Clemson.
So you think this is like the blowout of the weekend?
I think this would be the blowout of the weekend.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, I have Arizona State versus Clemson. I think Texas goes down round one. I already made that for the people who aren't here. I made that prediction. So I've got Clemson versus Arizona State in my second round here. And I think Arizona State wins this game. They're on 3 weeks rest. Clemson may be coming off too high off that victory. So I think one of these teams is going to get in here. I think this could be the chaos bracket, little fourth of the bracket that's just pure chaos. So I'm going Arizona State over Clemson. I think it's going to be a really good game. People might be sleeping on that game just because it's, two of the lesser teams that no one has cared about that much this year. But I think with Scatabo, I don't know. Give me Arizona State. I have faith in them. I think there might be like a little miracle win within them. So I got Arizona State over Clemson, and Arizona State advancing to the semifinals.
Wow.
All right.
Big.
So yep, we established Oregon semifinal is the Rose Bowl. Thanks to Zach Seaman. Also had that in the chat. Clemson starting running back is injured, right? Is this correct?
I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't really know.
I'll believe you, but I'm still taking Clemson round one, and then I'm taking Scatabo round two. One more game in round two. This will be, if this goes down, either way, I think this will be the game of round two. So did you pick Tennessee or Ohio State to win the game?
I think Ohio State wins, but take Tennessee spread.
Okay, so we both have Ohio State versus Oregon, the rematch in round two. What is your analysis for this? Do you think Ohio State exacts revenge, or do you think Oregon beats them twice in 1 year?
Don't kill me, Allie. But I mean, that game was so close. I think Oregon's the best team in the college football playoff, even though I did take Texas, hook 'em. I really think that Oregon's going to win this game, but it's going to be close. This is a pick 'em. This is going to be the best game of the college football playoff, in my opinion.
Of the entire playoff.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Big proclamation.
Yeah, because you know what? Because they're playing again. Like Ohio State's going to want like Zach revenge on them. Like I think Oregon's a better team. I really do. And they have like so much money now with Phil Knight. Like they're buying all these players. Like
Phil
I know
Knight
Ohio
wants to see
State
a championship before he goes.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, who knows? Maybe he has steroids for all the players in the locker room. Ready to
Whoa,
go.
whoa.
Well, this is a kid show. Kid show.
I am sadly in agreement with you. I think this is going to be the same recipe. I think Oregon's been the best team all year. I think this continues in this game. Ohio State, I don't know. I think there's too much that comes up when you think of the Michigan loss. I mean, you lost the first time, and granted that was 1 point in Oregon, so that's not the worst loss in the world. But it's like, I just think it's inevitable for Oregon to win this year. Like, college football is not as crazy as college basketball, especially you're only playing, like, Oregon will have to play 3 games to win the championship in this bracket. I think they are going to prepare for Ohio State. They know what Ohio State's going to play like. And if it might be a pick 'em, it might be a crazy game, like you said. But ultimately, I trust Dan Lanning more than I trust Ryan Day. I trust Dylan Gabriel more than I trust Will Howard. So I'm taking Oregon to advance to the semifinals. And yeah, I don't know. I just think it could be a really good game, or it could be Ohio State comes out flat. But I just think Oregon is going to win this game. It's a tough draw for Ohio State. I mean, if you beat Michigan, you're maybe looking at Ohio State in the opposite position in the getting a bye, but it didn't happen. So there's got to be consequences for that. But Oregon, they got screwed over with this draw. Like Tennessee I'd probably put behind Notre Dame and Penn State, but Ohio State might be the best team of the bunch here.
Can I also ask you this? Like, is Ryan Day out if he loses first round?
If they lose first round, and it depends how they lose, like, I don't know. I think if they lose, like, there's a very hot, like, there's rumors of him going to what, UNC, or no, that was another one, some YouTube video, I guess. But
like an OC type role?
No, I think if they lose first round, he's out. Home playoff game against Tennessee, like after the Michigan loss too, I think he's done. But I think if they win any game, he's going to stay. I mean, he's a crazy recruiter. Like they've had a crazy wide receiver run, like Marvin Harrison, JSN. I don't need to name them all.
That's Heartline.
Garrett, yeah. Well, we'll see when Day potentially is leaving.
I think Heartline for coach.
I think Vrabel could be potentially lined up for that job if anything goes wrong. So I think that's a good spot for him. But I don't know. I think if they win a game, his job's safe for now. I mean, it depends on if he wants to do it. Like, this is stressful every year, having to face Michigan, and like that was the worst year if you're ever going to face Michigan. If he has this problem, he could just run away from it. I don't know.
He's a good coach. He just can't win the big one against Michigan.
Yeah. All right, so more comments have come in. Is that a Josh Rosen jersey? Yes, before you entered the chat, we saw the flex. I respect the Josh Rosen jersey.
I'll show you the back. I can't.
Chosen Rosen.
Actually, no, I will.
Oh, my. Kyle McCord. Paul Perkins jersey. Was he a UCLA alum?
Oh, yeah.
Oregon versus Ohio is the granddaddy of them all. I think I agree with Greg. I think that could potentially be the best game of the whole playoff. I mean, depends on what you think of like Penn State and then who you think's gonna make the championship. But I think Oregon versus Ohio State rematch. Like, there's a lot of like storylines going into that game. Zach Siemens got Georgia winning the national championship, so we have our semis right now, but we can maybe double back to this and see what everyone else takes for their championship. Ohio State fans travel better than Steelers fans. I'm not sure what's the comparison. Are the Steelers fans like well known for traveling to places?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Me neither.
I'll take your word for it, Allie.
Well, you might not want to, Greg. Like, you don't know ball. With just all due respect.
What? Because I picked Oregon.
All right. He is not out. I believe that's in reference to the Clemson running back, maybe.
Oh.
Or Day. Probably Day. Remember what happened last time OSU was in the Rose Bowl? JSN, 350 yards. Jeremiah Smith, 200 burger incoming. Your take?
Possible, but I mean,
it's going to be. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Like, what was it, 32-31 last time they played? So I think that could be correct with a lot of scoring in this potential rematch between Ohio State and Oregon.
Yeah. Right.
There will be a lot of orange in Columbus on Saturday. Yes, we've already passed round one. Don't care. Zach likes Tennessee to get the round one upset. We both didn't really have faith in that. Put 1K on it. Let's see it. I mean, that's a lot to ask for.
What? On Oregon?
She's asking Zach to put 1,000 on Tennessee round one upset.
Oh.
All right, so we mostly have the same.
Zach, you won't.
We mostly have the same semifinals. We both have Georgia versus Penn State And then you have Oregon versus Texas. I have Oregon versus Arizona State. So which game? We'll stay with the same order.
Okay.
Georgia versus Penn State. What is your lean on this one?
Georgia, Penn State. That's Penn State. James Franklin won't win a big one. Like, he's not going to beat, if he can't beat Ohio State or Michigan, he's not beating Kirby Smart and Georgia. Like, they're an SEC team. They won the SEC championship. Like, it's not happening. And they're just going to run the ball the entire time with ETN. Like, they're going to play smart offense. They're going to, clock management's key. Like, and they're going to, their defense is insane every year. It's Drew Lord's gonna throw for like 2 picks. Like, this is no, Penn State's not winning this game. It's not happening. What's big?
Yeah, unfortunately, I tend to agree. It's boring because my championship at this point is obvious because I have Oregon versus Arizona State, but I think it's got to be Georgia. Like it's pretty simple. I feel like most of the times in these playoffs, the number 1 team versus the number 2 team plays in the championship. I think Georgia and Oregon are the best 2 teams, like on a roster scale. Coach, I think Kirby and Dan Lanning, you could make a case, are the 2 best coaches in all of college football. I don't know if that's a crazy take or not, but um, I think I want to be exciting and take Penn State, but I don't trust James Franklin to win the big one, like you said. Like they haven't done anything in the past couple of years. I don't know what changes this year. Aller doesn't jump off the page to me as like a game changing quarterback. I think they're going to have a simple game plan as well. It's going to be a run it, grind it out game. I like Georgia to win this game as well over Penn State, so I got Georgia in the national championship. Breaking news on a tweet I just saw. Multiple sources have told me that both EA and Take-Two 2K have had continued internal conversations about a college basketball game. Unknown how far
Really?
along talks are, but there are groups within both companies pushing heavily for it. So that's some exciting
No.
news. Hopefully that develops.
Wait,
Just
where do you see this?
some random guy tweeted it, so it could be cap. Mike Straw. Oh no, this guy's
Damn.
legit. Mike Straw of Insider Gaming,
Damn.
TWSN.net, Threads and Blue Sky. Mike Straw Media. He talks on Insider Gaming. He has YouTube, 11,000 followers on Twitter. So exciting news. I know it's not college football like we were talking about, but
No, this is exciting. I can't wait to rebuild Syracuse basketball.
All right, back on track. So I'll go first for this one. I have Oregon versus Arizona State. Unfortunately, the way things I have the upsets brewing. I think this is just a boring game where Oregon's going to smoke. Arizona State will be fun because they're both playing in the Pac-12 rematch. But I got Oregon advancing to the national championship. I mean, they're just better every facet of every level. Maybe Scatabo is better than Oregon's running back, but probably not. I think Oregon versus Georgia, it's 1 versus 2. It's boring, but college football sometimes is boring. So I'm taking Oregon to advance to the national championship versus Georgia. Now, you have a more interesting game, I think, because I think Texas might get upset in the first round, but you have Texas versus Oregon. You have Texas. You just placed the bet on Texas to win it all. You've been talking this whole podcast about how you think Oregon's the best team of them all. So what's your pick going to be officially for the podcast? Oregon versus Texas, semifinal.
I have to go with my bet. I have to.
So you're going with Texas.
Emotionally, I can't take it. Like, I can't. Texas is gonna win. You'll watch this game, and you'll think, damn, Greg is really he's gonna be glued to his TV, and I'm gonna be glued to my TV.
I mean, if you see like all these games are going to be glued to our TV regardless, but Texas versus Oregon, that's a crazy matchup. Like that could potentially be one of the best matchups as well. But I don't. I mean, if I had to pick Oregon versus, I just don't have faith in Texas. So I guess I'm not one to talk. But you're picking Texas off your heart, or you actually think there's a chance they can win this game versus Oregon?
My heart.
All right, respectable pick. So you're setting up a round 3 championship between Texas and Georgia. I have the boring pick of Oregon versus Georgia, but some fun along the way. So we have some comments before we get into our national championship predictions. More comments. Rumors circling around Columbus is that Day is staying and Chip Kelly is gone regardless of result. Now that would be funny for Chip Kelly after he left UCLA to become the OC of Ohio State and just leaves after a year. interested to see what that
He
looks
seems
like.
like a scumbag, doesn't
Hartline
he?
goes up to OC. I mean, you were not happy with that move of Chip Kelly to go to
I just
Ohio
think it's
State.
like he's at a good program coaching. Like to leave for Ohio State, like you're already the man at UCLA. Like what was the point of that? I
I
mean,
think
obviously Ohio
I think
State's a
the
better
writing was on the wall
program.
at UCLA. Hartline goes up to OC. Do we know if he has any experience with offense? I mean, I guess that could make sense. Like wide receiver coach, he's been very good at that. So that I could see that. I think that'd be good for them.
I like that too, actually. I
Yeah,
think Hartline
Hartline
could be
does.
a very good OC.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't got hired anywhere else.
I mean, I'm sure he has, but this is his school. Like,
Georgia will be the home team in the national championship game too. So you don't have Georgia, or you do have Georgia in the national
yeah,
championship.
Georgia, Texas.
All right, so that's a good lead up here. Connor J, he's got the horns down.
Damn.
All right, so let's get into our national championship game. We have I have Oregon versus Georgia. You have Texas versus Georgia. You've already said you're picking with your heart. That's the reason you're picking Texas over Oregon straight up. So are you going to follow through with that? Texas versus Georgia, round 3. Georgia up 2-0 in the series. It's hard to beat a team 2 times in the year in college football. Even more hard to beat a team 3 times in college football. What's your pick for Texas versus Georgia national championship?
Uncle Steve's got my back.
Uncle Steve.
Sark's got my back, baby.
So you're just going based off your bet is your bracket.
No, all right. As hard as I have to say this, I think Georgia wins. Like Kirby has Sark's number.
3 times in a year. So
Yeah. I mean, they should have won that last game. Am I wrong? They should
I
have won
mean,
that
yeah,
last
but that
game.
was like a clunky game.
I know you had money on that game too. Like that was so garbage they lost. I was so angry.
So you're throwing in the towel on Uncle Sark in the championship. You think Kirby just owns him for a 3rd time?
I mean, at that point, I could just take out my money and just make.
True.
But you know
You
what?
don't cash
I
out.
die by my bets. I don't pussy out. I die by my bets.
Respect.
Oh, can we curse on this show?
Yes.
All right, good. Fuck.
All right. Don't act like a 12-year-old. All right. So anything else? That's it. You just think Kirby's got Sark's number? That's
He
all
just
that there
has
is to
his
be said.
number. Like Kirby right now, since Saban's gone, I know there's Dabo, but like Kirby's the best coach in college football. I'm
Okay.
sorry, he's just the best coach in
I
college
agree.
football.
So my championship, I've got. Fittingly, I have the green on. Did not do that on purpose, but I'm being boring. I know. So don't come at me. I had Clemson winning in the first round over Texas. That's a massive upset. I have Arizona State in the Final Four. Not a lot of people are picking that, so I don't want to hear about the upsets. But I'm taking Oregon 1/2. I just simply think like. I've said it a lot of times already on this podcast, but I think college football is a little bit more boring than people will lead it up to be. Like, yes, there are exciting games, but ultimately the better team will win. And I think Oregon's just been the best team all year. I mean, them versus Georgia will be a really interesting matchup if it does happen. I mean, maybe we see Carson Beck back. I don't know what his timeline is, but I just think it's destined for Oregon. Like, there's just sometimes in sports, and especially in college football, and it's just destined for one team to win. I don't see it in the cards for Georgia. I think they've got I don't know. I don't want to say a harder path, but it seems like Georgia, like they have to play Notre Dame, then they have to play Penn State. Like that's 2 hard games in a row. I think Oregon versus Texas. I think they could blow out Texas if Texas does advance. I like Oregon to win the national championship. The Ducks do it for Phil. Oregon hasn't won in a while. They haven't been in prominence in a while. Dylan Gabriel's really experienced at quarterback. I mean, I don't trust Gunnar Stockton. I don't know what he's all about. I don't trust Carson Beck. I think Dylan Gabriel. Maybe he's the best quarterback in this whole bracket. Like I don't know if that's a crazy take, but I like Dan Lanning as well. I think he cements himself as a top 2-3 coach in the game. I'm taking Oregon to win it all. So those are our brackets. Mostly agreed, so that was pretty good. We just disagree on that little Texas quartet. I got Texas in the first round, but you like Texas a lot. So we both have Georgia national championship. Our whole right side of the bracket was all the same.
Yeah.
So that's it. Oregon over Georgia for me. Georgia over Texas for you. More comments. Zach's got Georgia versus Oregon as well, but he's got Georgia winning. Interesting. I could see it. Like I feel like Georgia winning would just be a pretty boring outcome for this season. I don't know. Like it feels like Oregon's destined to win. Like Texas winning would be pretty interesting. Like Penn State pulling off an upset would be cool.
It just feels like Nick Saban, like 2.0, like just somehow pulls it out of his ass to win a national championship.
Yeah. I don't know. So, yep, Zach's agreeing with you. Kirby will get it done with his experience. He is by far the most experienced guy in here besides Dabo, who potentially could be out round one. I mean, Day doesn't really have crazy experience. It's really just a one-man game with the coaching. So, really, that's what we were here for, was the bracket, the predictions against the spread. So good luck to you in your bets this weekend. Anything else you wanted to touch on college football-wise? We can make our campaign, Mr. Bo Prabula.
Bo Prabula, baby.
Take a visit to Syracuse unless Kyle McCord comes back, then we don't need you. But
no, we still need Bo.
We still need him. Package player. He comes here to just do packages like at Penn State.
Taysom Hill 2.0. Syracuse Taysom Hill.
Anything else you wanted to address? Bowl games, transfer portal.
Yeah, like what the fuck's the Holiday Bowl now? 20 players are like at this point they shouldn't play. Like they should just hand the trophy to Syracuse. There's 20 players not playing. A head coach is already on plane to Wake Forest. The OC's wherever he's going. I think Purdue. Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Purdue. And then like they're missing out on 10 stars. Like just give Syracuse the trophy at this point, or just
Syracuse is only minus 14.
That's gonna go up. I really think so. Like this is
it could get bad.
Yeah, this is gonna be terrible. But then again, like Syracuse doesn't know how to tackle, so we'll see what happens.
All right.
Also, their quarterback is going to Oklahoma. Like
John Mateer, yep, he's gone. So that'll do it. Successful stream. A lot of people in and out. So thank you so much to our commenters. Thanks everyone for sticking along with your comments and viewing. We had a lot of concurrent viewers. So more on the channel. If you like what you saw here, we'll be live every week. NFL. Greg is a frequent commenter in the chat on the NFL streams, calls in. More people can call in on the NFL streams weekly. Next video out, we got Outer Banks season 4. We watched some of that together, so I had some interesting thoughts on Outer Banks season 4.
Will there be spoiler alerts?
Yeah, there will be spoilers in the video. After that, Outer Banks tier list season 4, post season 4 Outer Banks character tier list. Survivor wrapped up, so we got tier list for that. Finale review. So a recap. So that's it. As always, any last words, Greg? Anyone, anywhere people should follow you, or you want to stay low key?
I like to stay low key, but I just want to thank you again for having me on the podcast.
Of course.
I had a lot of fun on the Dubcast.
Of course. Thanks for coming on. And to all the people out there, as always, be easy. Peace out.